Steven Universe and all associated images are property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and any and all other respective owners. I don't know them all. All footage in this video has been used for the purpose of critique parody under fair use. Please support the official release. Well guys, it's time. I started this theory series with a video postulating that gems on Homeworld are not unique and are created to fill specific roles in their society. I used Pearl and her behavior as the main example here. My second video put together some pretty overt evidence to suggest that Amethyst, if she were not quote-unquote overcooked, would have been a burly warrior like Jasper. Both of these theories at their basis levels turned out to be correct, so I've decided to follow them up with a theory as to what the designated purpose for another pair of gems might be, everyone's favorite fusion components slash cute couple, Ruby and Sapphire. With all of the influx of Amidot shipping since Too Far, it feels a little like the fandom has forgotten about one of the two current canon couples, but I certainly haven't. As cute as Connie and Steven, but much more mysterious, we know very little about Ruby and Sapphire outside of their appearance, basic character traits, and a few powers. In fact, we only know the weapon of one of the two, that being Ruby's. Like Garnet, Ruby summons an incredibly durable gauntlet. In fact, it's exactly like Garnet's gauntlet. Matt Burnett has said specifically that Ruby's gauntlet is just a smaller version of Garnet's. This means that just like any other gem, she can summon more than one gauntlet at a time and change its size based on her current preference, just like Garnet does. Considering that whenever a fusion summons its individual components' weapons, they never seem exactly like they do when summoned outside of the fusion, and the necessity to summon individual weapons at all as part of a fusion before combining them, it can be assumed that a fusion gem doesn't actually need to combine its weapons at all, and that Garnet's gauntlets are just Ruby's gauntlets, summoned twice and made bigger to suit Garnet's larger body. If you don't believe me that a fusion gem doesn't need to combine its weapons, just consider a gem with a weapon like Jasper's if it were to fuse with, say, Pearl, for example. It just doesn't work, at least not as something particularly practical or functional. So if this is all true, then what could Sapphire's weapon be? Well, I think the answer has been staring us in the face this whole time. I think that Sapphire's weapon is Garnet's dark brown shades, that they have some protective or perception-enhancing property that we haven't seen on screen yet. Think about it. When Garnet is poofed and then refuses from the regenerated Ruby and Sapphire, she, like all other regenerated gems, appears in her new outfit, but her shades do not form with it, only reappearing after she makes a gesture with her hand, which contains her gem, literally summoning the shades from that gesture. And before anyone argues that the shades look different after Garnet's regeneration and must be part of her outfit, well, so do her gauntlets, and they definitely aren't. Obviously, default weapon appearance can be changed upon regeneration just like default clothing. But AJ, you ask, what does any of this have to do with the purpose of Rubies and Sapphires on Homeworld? Well, everything actually. Let's look for a second at Ruby and Sapphire's other powers, starting with Ruby. Ruby is very strong, especially for a gem her size, and she can heat up her body to the point that she can raise an entire pool full of, I'm going to call it room temperature water for lack of a better term, to its boiling point in seconds. It takes me several minutes to raise a small pot's worth of water to the same temperature over the open gas flame of my kitchen stove. This means that Ruby must be able to heat her own body to a temperature many times hotter than the aforementioned open flame, and that her own body and gem must be able to withstand those temperatures. Such temperatures would be more than hot enough to soften metal or stone and reshape it. Combined with her strength and her gauntlet, which could be used for pounding and shaping those materials, I think it's obvious that rubies were used for some kind of construction. And I think that sapphires work right alongside them. Let's consider Sapphire's powers now as well. In many ways, her powers are the exact converse of Ruby's. Where Ruby produces heat, Sapphire can lower the surrounding temperature dramatically very, very quickly. Where Ruby is very strong, Sapphire seems frail in body, but she can hover around. Where Ruby is hot-headed and reactionary, Sapphire can literally look into the future and see possibilities that haven't occurred yet. While on a work site, a Sapphire's ability to lower the temperature of the surrounding air would protect her from the excess heat given off by a Ruby working in the same area, or even counter a Ruby's heat power should it ever get out of hand. The hypothetical perception-enhancing ability of her shades would allow her to see faults in the structure that is being put up before they became too serious. Her ability to hover would help her to get around quickly, and her future vision would allow her to foresee workplace disasters and advise on how to avoid them. So I think that's it. I think rubies and sapphires work construction on Homeworld, and on outlying gem colonies as well. This even explains how our ruby and sapphire got to Earth and how they met. They came to Earth to work on constructing either the kindergarten or some other random gem structure, and they worked together. I think it's also reasonable to assume that it was Ruby and Sapphire who built the Gem Temple. Or I could be entirely wrong about all of this, I freely admit that. But what do you think? Let's get a discussion going in the comments section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later. Hey guys, it looks like little codas like this might actually be becoming the norm for these videos, as I have even more to say that doesn't specifically pertain to the theory that I was talking about today. So here we go. First of all, I want to give a shout out to another StevenTuber, a brand new YouTuber by the name of Kindergarten Maid, who also does Steven Universe Theories. It's a fledgling channel, so it's not its fullest potential, but I definitely think it can reach that potential, and I definitely think that any of you who are interested in seeing other well-made Steven Universe theories should head on over there and give it a subscribe. Second, I want to talk a little bit about my upload schedule for these videos. I was doing 2 a month with additional theory videos just kind of thrown in wherever I made them, and those would have been the simpler theories, the ones that didn't take as much work to make. I'm definitely feeling really comfortable with uploading these videos now, so I am bumping that up to 3 main videos a month officially. They are now going to come on the 1st, 10th, and 20th of each month. There will still be other additional little videos here and there, such as theory information updates and potentially future updates to my timeline, which will not be part of the main series. And I am entirely open to increasing that number even further to 1 episode a week, should I ever reach a point where I feel like that's viable. These theory videos do take a little bit of work to put together after all. And that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next one.